Okay, so we have our design loaded up. We're going to be using spool 3 and 1. 1 is black and 3 is red. Okay, and you can see the needles here, 3 and 1. And then you can tell we're looking at 7 minutes to stitch the design at the slowest speed. So I'll just show you the slowest speed. We could, of course, speed it up too. But we have a lot of, this is the original stitch out I did. We have a lot of very fine stitches. So I'm going to do it at a little bit slower speed here. So we will go ahead and get it going here. And I'll just show you how it stitches. So it's doing the underlay stitches for letter B. And then once it finishes that up, then it'll come back in and do our fill stitching. Now you can see starts in. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of wait till it gets done at the end, and how it changes the thread colors for you. So you can kind of see what this result is so far. Looks pretty good so far. With the embroidery, sometimes we have to adjust. These are our thread tension knobs, and I did play with that a little bit. The first stitch out, see a little bit of the bobbin thread showing through here and there, and that's because the thread tension was a little bit high on 1 and 3. This looks much better. So there's a little bit to knowing your machine and, you know, knowing the different parameters here. We can go ahead and speed it up. You can hear when we do that, we're speeding it up, and you can see how much quicker it's stitching. As we slow it back down, as you can see it, obviously it's going to go. But you can just hear the machine, how much faster or slower it's going as it's stitching. Get a little closer here. See, stitching is looking very nice. And again, we can adjust the density of that stitching if we want it just a little bit more raised. This is the default fill stitch, and of course if we increase our density, we're going to increase our number of stitches, so that's also something to consider. So you can see it's doing a good job with the default settings there. I am just stitching on some backing material, actually, some cutaway. That's another thing, you know, there's a lot, there's the backing, this is cutaway backing, there's tearaway backing, you know, there's a variety of different types of backing to hold those embroidery threads. So all that plays a role in the final stitch out quality. So let's just go ahead and finish watching it here. And it's going to switch out once it finishes the R here. It is going to then do an automatic thread trim and cut off our red thread, and then it's going to switch over to black automatically. Right now we are running at 800 stitches a minute. So now it's cutting the red trim and then switching to black. Now, it came out. I'm going to go ahead and let it go. I want to show you. It will tell you, hey, we got an issue here. It'll automatically tell us that. See, it detects that that thread, the black thread, came out of the needle. So you can see here, it's telling us to check the upper and lower bobbin, which we'll go ahead and thread that. And so we'll close that out. We'll hit this button right here. That will bring down the thread to lever to put the needle or the thread back through the needle automatically. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have our black thread back through our needle. So we will go ahead and we will back up and start again on black. So we can see our black border. I feel like it definitely be wider. We have a very, 1.3 millimeters. Satin stitch is very tiny. So we definitely want to probably go at least 3 or 4 millimeters wide for a satin border for our badge. And then for our little text, really, that we have it set at, I believe, 1 millimeter. So that's where when we increase our density, but what we need to do is use our thinner weight thread here. And that will make our lettering just a little bit more crisp. It's not terrible, but if we made it just a little bit more crisp here, with that smaller, you can see the M is defined, but if we were using that thinner weight thread, it would be even more defined. Where we're really going to see it here is in the A. The P you can see even perhaps. See how the P doesn't have much space in the center? But really the A is really tight. So we really need that thinner weight thread to open up that A a little bit better. Again, it's not terrible, but it's also not exactly the way we would prefer to have it. And there it is. So that kind of gives you an idea of, now that we've stitched it, now we can go back, increase our thickness on our badge border. And I think our text is fine just the way it is. We just need to be using the thinner weight thread, which is 0.65, I believe, when you're looking for embroidery thread, where this is 0.80. And I just didn't have any of the lightweight thread in my machine. But I would use the lightweight thread on the text, on the little text, and then you're good to go. So I hope that helps you understand it just a little bit better.